How do you handle firmware updates across thousands of devices without breaking everything?
So, each one of our devices has firmware, obviously, and that's all controlled through the cloud. And you can do one or you can do thousands of them. And we have mechanisms where you can push the button and say, I want to do it right now, or you can do it, at different scheduled times of
Mhm.
the day. So, um, why would you want to schedule? Maybe you'd want to schedule it in the middle of the night, say at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when likely there's no traffic, or maybe you're a restaurant and nobody's there at that time of day and you're not running backup jobs and those types of things. So, so the ability to do that gives the flexibility, but maybe you can talk about like what happens if something goes wrong, or how do we ensure that is a
Yeah.
seamless process and finishes.
Yeah, it's I mean, firmware update is one of those things that everybody takes for granted. And nobody really wants to update a firmware unless it's absolutely necessary
Right?
for this
Yes.
very same thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're afraid that something will break. But there's a lot of checks and there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it sounds like you spend a ton of time thinking about how the customer experience is going to be, and especially in the remote situation where you're like, I'm kicking off these firmware upgrades and these devices could be all over the world.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, I can't just walk over to it, fix it. So the rollback, the different partitions, the when we do it, all that stuff has been meticulously thought through.
Right. Right.
And basically there's checks and balances. If something goes wrong, it'll roll back, and then
Yes.
it's always going to be up, and you can always
Yes.
it's going to serve the
And
customers,
it's
and you
and
don't have to
it's
go visit it.
and it's so much harder with mobile devices, right? Because you can always, you can turn a device off and it never turns on. How does that device get a firmware upgrade?
Yeah,
If you're in the middle of a firmware upgrade, somebody removes the battery, you got
exactly.
to plan for all those cases.
Yep. The battery case, which is always that's always one we have to think about.
That's the reason they don't allow you to replace those batteries anymore.
Yeah, that's right.